My old house was a graveyard. This happened over 6 years ago when I was 14. My dad and I lived in a house that looked pretty creepy. It was gross looking, and a lot of renovations had to be done before we moved in, like pipe replacement, new walls, and a few new fuses. Wasn't creepy to me. Just simple fixes the last owner didn't bother doing. But the backyard really intrigued me. The grass was super tall, like nobody had gone out and mowed it for a long time. But that didn't strike me as odd either. Just really interesting. I just shrugged it off and Dad mowed the lawn. While we were living there, my dog Squeak got sick. She was an old girl, so I knew it was coming. I don't remember exactly what she had, but I do remember how serious it was and how we had to take her to the vet immediately. We put her down after the doctor told us. We invited a few of my friends and family to her burial. I was unfortunately in charge of digging Squeak's grave. I didn't like the dirty work. It ruins my clothes. I began digging one spot in the ground toward the shed. As I was digging, I suddenly noticed that I couldn't dig anymore, and I was no more but a couple inches down. I reached and I picked up some weird white thing. My heart started beating fast, like something was about to happen. I turned the object around, and it was a broken piece of a skull. I threw it, screaming and running inside to get someone. My aunt happened to be there, and I dragged her outside. "Andy, look, there's a skull in there." "There a skull?" She saw the skull piece, now broken in half since I threw it, and we called the police immediately. Squeak's funeral was postponed until our house was investigated. Our house was a graveyard site before a house was built over it. They found more skeletons in the graveyard. Don't know what kind of graveyard it used to be, but we moved out of there immediately. We were never given a lot of details, like if the person before was possibly behind some of these bodies, or if this house was abandoned most of the time, but I didn't care. I wanted to leave. I'm 20 now. I'm a creative writer, and I have a lovely boyfriend and a somewhat nice life. But I still have nightmares about that house. I don't know if they tore it down, or if someone's living in it, but living with the remains of dead people just did not sit right with me. Life is full of surprises.